And here we are, day four of ISE 2024, our now annual tradition. I guess if you do it twice in a row, it's now an annual tradition. Best of ISE wrap up. We are here at 10 a.m. It's a little slower today because ISE hits hard, but we've had a chance to see a lot of products. Hopefully you've checked out all of the videos that we've done, our daily wrap-ups, and now we're just gonna have a little bit of a conversation about the things that impressed us, our impact of the show, some of the products that really stuck out to us. So I guess first off, Britt, Aaron, so Britt, you've got the thing there. We've already done our preview episode. We did, a couple weeks ago, we did our starting episode a couple days ago. This all blends together. Now that you've had 4 days at the show, what are your impressions of ISE?
Oh, it's incredible. Obviously, it's so much bigger than Infocom. It, to me, feels a little bit more organized in its structure. I haven't had any difficulties navigating the show floor. So yeah, I've been really impressed.
Yeah, and so I asked you a question on our recording a couple days ago. Now I want to revisit it.
Okay.
I'm actually surprised. I remembered that I was going to revisit this. Again, you've talked a lot about how this can be overwhelming for people. How did the show handle that? Are you able to balance it? How are you? And I don't even know how to ask the question. But now, because I know that we build ISE up so much, and that it goes hard, and the after parties, and this, and all of the vendors, 1,400 vendors. That can be intimidating to people, and it can be really, I'm gonna say sensory overload. I don't even know what the right words are.
Yes.
How did they handle it well? And did you find that this is an accommodating conference? I don't know. I don't want to throw things at you.
I think that it's very challenging for a conference of this size to create accommodations. I don't think that we're quite there on the show floor right now in terms of the accommodations that I would be looking for in terms of a quiet space or a place to rest. Yes, we have this space, but we have this space because we're influencers. Your typical attendee doesn't have a space like this. Yeah. But I will say, outside of the show and what they did, I want to give kudos to our group. Because what really helped me throughout this show was the strength and compassion of our group. I am a planner and organizer, and if I know what to expect of my day, that makes me feel better. And Erin did a phenomenal job of organizing our days and putting everything on my calendar for me. It felt so good. And we did a lot of check-ins with each other throughout the week. Are you okay? I'm going to the bathroom. Do you want to go? I need a water. Do you want a water? And just caring for each other, I think is what made the show great.
Oh, I agree. I totally agree. I would say we were talking about it yesterday, and this was to me, a rock star crew. This is a foundation that we can really build upon. I know you all made this special trip for me, and I think that I don't want to get emotional and all, but I think that even the organization in our higher ed vertical made a flip with this group and everything we pulled off. I'll say this, I'm going to say it. We had more people at our happy hour than Avixa had at their higher ed happy hour. We had more people come to ours than the EdTech Summit that went to the EdTech Summit. And we're just this random group who's come of 5 hooligans who are trying to figure something out. But I think it actually says a lot. It says about the org and this group saying, hey, let's try to find ways to accommodate everyone, and the mix of different things that we did, from these low-key kind of panels, the discussions. Gosh, EFOT's panel, amazing. And then kind of mixing that in with, all right, but let's go have some dinners, let's go have some fun, and let's go club, you know what I mean? But then let's also settle it down. I think that was a great mix. So the last question to you then is, what, let's see your takeaway. Were there any particular things you saw, trends, that type of stuff, when you go back to your school next week, you're going to go, okay, here's where I need to focus? I know you haven't had a ton of time. Today's the day to actually go walk more.
Yeah.
But
yeah, today is my day where I'm actually walking, and I would be able to answer that question later. But honestly, the thing that has struck me the most so far was being in my role. Yes, I'm a director, but I'm very much boots on the ground. I don't have a whole lot of time to sit at my desk and research things. Like, this is my opportunity to see things. And I didn't even realize that Catchbox has like a custom road case. And I was like, oh my God, I need that, you know? So like just the opportunity to see like simple things like that is really impactful for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I totally agree. And they do, by the way. And they're he's going to come on in a second. So, but thank you very much for that. I want to flip and I want to ask Erin now kind of the same questions in a way. Your first ISE, total, just overview, thoughts, things, etc.
Thank goodness for the influencer hub, because I think if it wasn't for this space, I'd be overly exhausted. Not that I'm not exhausted, but it just having the space to know that I could just sit down, have a soda, just download the brain for a few minutes, and then carry on. Really has helped me, because it's a sensory overload. Even just walking on the path above the halls, through from hall to hall, it's sensory overload. All of the lights, all of the sound. So it's really nice to have this space, and I hope that maybe potentially there could be similar spaces for the greater public if they feel like they need that. But the tech-wise, since that is what we're here for, honestly, have not had as much of a chance to get to see things as I had hoped. But first impressions, immersive experiences. That seems to be a very big thing this year. I was expecting to be like AI this, AI that, but it's really about the immersion that seems to be a hot topic this year. But maybe, and it's not to say that there weren't AI products. There are plenty of them, but it just wasn't so like buzzwordy like it was expecting. And maybe it's just maybe we're getting to that point where it's everywhere, so we're not like using it as a selling point as much.
Yeah, we had this conversation earlier, and that was one of my takeaways. I really thought every sign is going to say AI here, AI this, AI, and it's not. And that's a kudos to our industry to recognize, hey, unless you're really putting it out, and we've been able to talk to some engineers, or we see people, and I've mentioned this, and they'd be like, no, we're working on it. We're just not ready to say that, but if we're road mapping it and going, that's a very big change for our industry, because we're known for just putting stuff out there and saying this is the greatest thing, and then they really don't come through with it, right? So the only real, this is our best of ISE. So the one, I think, AI thing that was the best AI thing was Aurora Multimedia's Reacts AI programming, right? Without a doubt. To me, that was one of the top 3 products of the show was probably that one. Just seeing it where I need an on-off, and boom, it shoots out the JavaScript to create that for your thing. And then adding in now, student worker programmers. I've talked about that type of stuff. To me, that was amazing. What are some of the products that really stuck out to you then?
That was probably one of, in being someone who is a programmer, the Aurora product was definitely one. And also the use of AI without it being like just for the sake of using it. It's really actually something that's helpful and takes like configuration and programming to a whole new level. That is fantastic. Also, the use of AI for sound and taking the audio in the area, in the space, and negating it essentially. I find that to be pretty fascinating, and I have definitely seen some auto tracking cameras that do it in different sort of ways. And so I'm definitely looking forward to finding out more about how that works, as opposed to like, yes, it's a great product, but how does that happen?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And like, I don't know. I'm really coming away impressed with the show a lot. Kudos to our group. I mean, and the hospitality of ISE. Talk now. You're in Barcelona. What were your favorite things about Barcelona?
I'm gonna go back to the food because seriously, outside. I mean, we got to go and do some fantastic parties and things like that. But really, what it comes down to was that the food experiences have been wonderful. Like I look forward to having some more free time to get to explore more of the beautiful city. Just haven't had the opportunity to yet. But the thing that really like pulls it all together, it's the food.
And that's what we'll be doing today, is getting some of that stuff. But yeah, how about that 9-course meal we had last night, paired with the wines? It was amazing, and we found it randomly.
Good.
It was
so good, and and we can't say the name of the restaurant.
Yeah, I don't want the explicit tag, but you will see it. We will write it somewhere. But and we thought it was going to be a dive bar, and it turns out to be the most amazing food, high-end 9-course.
Oh yeah, the pairings were perfect.
Yeah.
Just the flow of each of the things was amazing.
Yeah.
It's the kind of place that I would want to take people to.
Yep, absolutely. I totally agree. We're going to do a little technical timeout because we have a guest that's going to join our show. Tom, come in, get over here. This is our Best of ISE show. So one of the things that did for sure be the Best of ISE for us. You don't have to leave us.
No, leave me alone.
All right. We'll scoot. But one of the best, a 4-channel catch box, a handheld. That to us was a huge hit. We know that you're making some kind of strategic, I don't want to say strategic changes, some movements to really take over. Everyone loves these, right? We all know this. But now what I've noticed by visiting you all this week was a move to that really installed to, should I say, competing against all the other people in there and saying we can be a full microphone solution. I don't want to put words in your mouth,
Yeah.
but talk really quickly about that, and especially the product that really stuck out to us is your 4-channel and the handhelds.
All right, thanks, first of all. Thanks for the kind words of that. But yeah, that's the strategic move that we have at the moment, that we want to go and the catchbox system can be the one that can be installed in all of the rooms as a microphone system that can be standardized, because we care about the end user, the actual end user who uses the microphones, and we believe that actually people can say after a use of microphone that I love that microphone. Like, just like physically, like very like people love their iPhones. And we want that they say that I love that catchbox stick microphone, I love that clip microphone, so that it's not just like a utilitarian tool for them just for capturing the audio. We want that they have some emotional bond with those microphones. That's a big step to take there, but I believe that that's something that we can do.
Oh, absolutely. And I love the move, right? And I think that one of the things, and I say this a lot, is a lot of times it's hard for companies to, I don't want to say the right word isn't pivot, but it's grow their brand and grow. And I think that, to me, I don't want to take credit, but I want to give credit to our end users, our higher ed. You're one of the companies that always reaches out, always asks for opinion, always said, how can we do it? And you develop products based on, I feel it, or you hide it well. But talk about then how important it is for your interaction with our higher ed vertical and our users for your product development.
Wow, that's a cornerstone thing for us. That's just like, I wouldn't say that we base all of our decisions on your opinion, but we take that very seriously, like more than seriously, because you are guys that are gonna use them actually, and your user is gonna use the microphones later on, and we want that everyone is happy about it, so that it creates this immersive experience. Because yeah, as I said previously, we know that there are owners of the products and there are users of the products, and I think that we want to find this compromise between both of them to have like a great experience on both ends.
Yeah.
And talking with you guys and also talking with your customers, meaning the actual users, that's the way how I see that we can do that.
Yeah. And you've done it. Your proof is in the way you've brought the product. So congratulations to you on that. A couple of little quick questions. You held a happy hour yesterday, which was
yeah.
fantastic. You brought some pretty cool beers.
Did you enjoy the lollipop beer?
The lollipop. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so it was
Those
lollipop.
were Latvian craft beers.
Latvian craft beers that you brought out here. It was like pineapple and orange or something.
Mango.
Mango.
Yeah.
It tell you, it hit. I was not expecting it. I was like, whew, okay, it woke me up. But that was some pretty fantastic stuff there.
Well, actually, it was a bit of unexpected. It was paid for the higher education people, and the booth was buzzing.
Yes.
The vibe was great. Thank you for joining everyone. Actually, like you made that event. Like Alex was DJing there. That was cool. So
Yeah, I know.
there was a cool vibe on that, and I hope you enjoyed the lollipop.
I
at the
did.
end. I know it hits. Like it's a surprise.
It was fantastic. It was fantastic. So, last questions then for you. We talked about your product, talked about your happy hour. What's your overall just thought of the show this year?
First of all, massive. Like the tendency, I want to find out the numbers. It felt like huge, like compared even to 2019, which was like the record-breaking one. Overall, I think from a higher education point of view, I love the sessions that you have in InfoCom. And I would love to see more of them here. I know there was this higher ed summit, something like that, but I would say that as I visited the HETM organized sessions last year, those were so good.
Yeah.
Those were so intensive, those long enough, a good conversation. Those actually triggered some conversations and discussions.
Great.
And I love that. And I hope that someday this will come also here more.
Yeah, and that's a good say. There might be some news to break about things Hetman is going to be doing in the next year. So, and BC looked at me like, oh no, don't tell me we're breaking it now. But no, we will. But again, I want to just thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your support of higher ed and everything. And congratulations on some great product stuff.
Thank
and
you.
we are going to now switch. BC's going to step in here, and we're going to talk a little bit about his impressions. Have a great rest of your show and
Thank
safe
you.
travels home. All right, BC, step on in. As you know, you want to be camera ready at 10 a.m. on a Friday, ending up the
on day 4.
Oh,
yeah.
there he is. When we even have our Epiphany, he's
have-
walking around and he's
Oh,
gonna be
yeah?
up next. So, grab it. There's the. All right, that's good. He's coming up after. We got another great product people coming up here too. So, all right. Are you stepping in? Well, you don't know, right?
It's live. We're going to see what happens.
So, I mean, here's the best part about running a podcast thing where I purposely don't plan. The reason for that, it's fluid.
Yeah.
If I'd have planned this, I'd been worried. But
Exactly.
but that's part of ISE is actually being fluid.
Mm-hmm.
So BC, this is now your second ISE. You were
is.
here with us last year. So talk a little bit about your impressions this year versus last year, or even just this year. What your thoughts?
So, I think I kind of echo what everybody else has said already. This year's just been bigger. Like more people, more products, more things. But it definitely feels like there's been a little bit of an attitude shift from between this year and last year. Right? Last year was really the first big show since the dark times of COVID and all the funness of that. But this year, it felt like business was being done, new products that were not just fillers while we tried to figure out supply chains were being introduced. It feels like product research is back to full force because things are coming out that have a ton of applicability, especially in our vertical as well. So, I mean, overall, top to bottom, it's been a very enjoyable show. Like, I could not have been happier with the way things have gone.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I love this, and the crew, was last year our test year?
Yeah,
This year,
that's fair.
I think we pulled it together. All of the events seem to go smooth, not just with what Hetma, Hired AV have done, but I think the show in general too. I think Britt mentioned it just a little bit ago, just about like it felt organized. It felt like this is a beast of a show.
Kudos to the ISE team. I mean, for them to pull off something with 80,000 of your closest friends attending in a city and it all go as smooth as it does, that just speaks to their phenomenal planning capabilities.
Yeah, it's 100%, 100%. And I love that now the influencer hub here is kind of moved. We have the Avixa booth with the main stage. So this whole area is really kind of made it work, right? It made it work. So again, so talk now a little bit, this is best of ISE, what were your finds? What were the things that stuck out to you, Stan?
Lots of LED.
A lot of LED.
All the LED is here. So if anybody needs any LED products, they're here right now. But no, I think, I did the boxless unboxing yesterday of the EpiFin Nexus, and it's a phenomenal piece of technology.
Yeah.
And one of the things that strikes me about not only it, but also the Catchbox mics that came up there, you can really tell when a company partners with a higher ed organization or the higher ed vertical to get our feedback on what works and what doesn't, because there is a big difference between when a manufacturer makes a product and tries to sell it versus when a manufacturer listens to us, then makes that product because we want to buy it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And we're going to have Epiphan up in a second after you, but I think that was one of the things. The Nexus, to me, was another star of the show.
Yes.
To just take that ability, put it in our rack mount, and to be able to say, hey, because that makes it more installable to me.
It does.
Right? That's where taking that feedback and going, okay, how can I take the product that we already all love and then be able to do that with it?
Because streaming and recording is no longer a nice to have in classrooms. It's a must have.
Yeah.
So having a piece of technology that's been purpose built and designed for the higher ed environment is makes all the difference.
Yeah, 100%. Well, no ISE is famous without its nightlife.
Yes.
We've already brought up the food. How about the dinner last night?
Easily.
And the Monday and Mana when we went out with Epiphan and AV Technology and all. And
literally some of the best meals I've ever had in my life, right? And you come to a historic city like this, there's fantastic little spots everywhere, but all of it's good, right? I mean, it's just, I don't have words, really.
Yeah. Well, and when you're even though you can't eat the paella, well, you had
I had meat paella.
There was this
yes.
like steak paella
and
or
it was
something.
phenomenal. Like, I'm trying to figure out how I can put it in my suitcase.
When it comes out this big, for those watching the video, this is how big a fish I always catch, right? But that was the size of the paella tray. That's crazy. And then there were 4 of them, I believe.
We brought out 4 and then some steak, and it was just a massive amount of food. But I mean, it's all, just like I said, it's phenomenal. It's perfect.
Yeah. Trends that you're seeing now, ISE, where are we going now as a future in our AV and in higher ed? Besides, yes, there's a lot of LED walls here.
LEDs,
but what was the trend? Where are we going with technology?
I think, honestly, I still need to see a few more things here before I can fully flesh that out. But a lot of it, we brought up the AI factor.
Form.
Yeah. We brought up the AI factor, right? Like, we expected to see a lot of that. But what we're seeing on the AI front is people aren't actually like using it as a marketing term right now. They're actually finding applicability to it in not only higher ed, but just overall AV as a whole. So I was really excited to see that.
Yeah.
And then also just the products that people are putting out there, we're not seeing as much vaporware anymore. Things are being, like you used the word intentional earlier this week, things are being intentionally built, and they're bringing products to market that have, that are not just, oh, we'll get to that in 6 months, or this will be a firmware update down the road. It's like, no, this is ready to go now.
Yeah. It's interesting. I like that you said that, because I wonder, do you think that has something to do with, but supply chain it was like product is expensive to make now. Chips are expensive to make now. Like even that I felt intentional with attendees, but now maybe manufacturers are being intentional about the things they're bringing too.
I think that's true. I mean, even when I'm back on campus and I'm looking at ways to improve our technology, I'm not having to flip through a ton of SKUs anymore. Like they're scaling down, they're making things more purpose built, which to me gets rid of the bloat, right?
Yep.
It doesn't make things as hard and to to delineate on what I need to buy, I'm just like, oh, this is exactly what I need, and
Yep.
I can pop it in.
Well, and if you look at even companies like X10AV, right, and they have the Xverse, and it
Oh, yes.
was usable. You're sitting there, change out my speaker, change
Right.
out this 300 products loaded in there of all the, what type of ceiling mics, get that coverage. So I think that when people do it, we are seeing things usable.
Yes.
Right, and that is not always the case.
Exactly.
Right. We all know. Okay, maybe you all don't know, but I'll put a little behind the scenes. Half these booths don't really work. Okay, they're fake. Okay, there's cables
There's a little bit of
behind
the
walls.
wizards behind the curtain making some of
Exactly.
the stuff work.
But now we're getting real demos in
Right.
a booth and going, whoa, that's the smoke and mirrors.
I mean, we had
isn't-
the Biamp demo the other day, which was a fully featured system in production, which was
I
something
could have
you
gotten
don't
such a
always
good
see.
nap. The air conditioning
was
in that
so
room.
comfortable in there. It
That
was
would have
so
been the
comfortable.
perfect nap.
Yes.
Thank you for kicking my chair a few times. No, not saying that the product was bad. I'm just saying that the room was perfect.
Yes.
Comfy chair and cool. So that was good. All right, BC, we're going to go ahead and turn over, and we're
You
going to
bet.
have Epifan
Come on in here.
join us in. How we doing today?
Great, how you doing?
Good. We are here on day 4. Yeah, you're just holding it yourself.
Okay.
I mean, and day 4 of ISE. We're doing our best of ISE show, and well, you guys hit the list there.
Thanks,
We were
man.
just bringing it up.
Thanks.
BC
Yeah,
was
yeah,
able to do the unboxing with the Nexus. So first, I guess introduce people, tell people who you are, what you do.
I'm
and
George
all that.
Birchall. I'm with the marketing team at Epifan Video, and yeah, we've had a great week here. It's been really fun just to talk. When you have new product, everybody gets excited, so that's been nice for us.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, talk really quickly about the product. I mean, we done the Nexus. What makes that different? What puts that over the top?
Well, it kind of ties in with the theme of this show, and as I see it, is that so many people are trying to simplify what they're doing, right? That's why they come here. They're not looking for more complexity. They're saying, I've got a lot of things I'm trying to do. How can you remove some of those, right?
Mhm.
And so that's the story of what Nexus is. So for anybody who's trying to stream video or record video with less complexity, you take a Pro Nexus, you put it in a rack, and you don't have to think about that technology. So
Yep.
obviously we're excited about it for teachers and for anybody in a space where they just want to do their job, and that's what we're good at. We do what we're good at and let them do what they're good at.
Yeah. No, and I totally agree. And this is one of the things. I get. It's funny because it's the theme of this episode seems to be we're getting things now based on customer feedback. We love, as higher ed, we're very opinionated.
Yes.
We love to tell people what we want, things with their products, going, you need to change this, you need to do this. But it's actually rare for a company. We think they might have just smile and nod, but you didn't do that. I think you created a product
Well, it's a
based
fine
on
line,
that,
because
right?
if we do what everybody asks us for, we'll make Frankenstein products that do nothing for nobody,
Yeah.
trying to do everything for everybody. So we have to be very judicious about how we deploy that feedback, right? But we've been very deliberate in this case, trying to make sure that we make something for people in Pro AV, in education, because otherwise it'll be just too much of a broad product. So this is certainly our most targeted effort within the Pro AV.
100%. So now, can you just give me a little bit of an overview then? Like we talked about the product, and everyone go check out the other video we did. Go over to Epifan, see the unboxing that BC did. But what is just your overview of now? Besides that, just ISE this year, the show, your final takeaways when you
Sure,
go back
sure.
to the office. How was it for you all?
Well, on a personal note, it's kind of my favorite show to go to. I like all of the shows we go to, but this one, there's more of an international crowd here, right? So you hear stories of people who are doing video in places you never expect them to.
Huh, like
People in like submarines, people from NATO, like all these crazy stories come out of the woodwork, and they don't normally talk to you, right? And then they come here. They've got 3 days, and they come and they tell you the story of what they're doing. So learning those stories is really exciting. And what we're seeing is it goes back to that same story. It's people looking to try to simplify what they're doing somehow. They're not looking for complexity. They're looking for the opposite. They're like, how do I streamline what I'm doing? So that's what I've been seeing, like not just on our show, but all these other booths around us. It seems to be around that same line. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I am blown away this year. Like I think to me, and I really wish I can kind of put it into the terms, and the one I keep coming back to is intentional. I feel our customers are intentional, the companies are intentional.
That's a great word.
There's
Yeah.
something that's just different
Yes.
right now. And I see it, and not just bigger. I mean, ISE, when they put out there, they're going to go, oh, we're bigger. Everyone else will say we new product. But I think that intentionality behind everybody is making this one special.
And it feels to be like it's about refinement this year. Like there's not this wave of new technology. It's not really new stuff, to be honest with you. It's about refining what we already have and making it better. So that's what I'm kind of seeing around here. I don't know about you. If you've seen a lot of there's still a lot of battlegrounds being fought and things like Dante and NDI, and where there's a similar technologies, and we're sort of waiting to see who rises out of these places. So I see a lot of that too. Like it's still emerging, some of the technology that we're talking about, and it hasn't been settled. But yeah, a lot of refinement.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And I like that, because the thing is, we were already talking about, we all thought that we were going to see AI this there, this here, this there. A lot of fake smoke and mirrors, and there's very little of that.
I totally agree. Yeah,
and
nice.
and maybe you just said it right. Still working out the battlegrounds, but it's almost like everybody's coming to play with a weapon that's actually real.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Instead of, oh, we're gonna do this. Hang on for 6 months. No, we're not seeing that. No one is. You can have roadmap conversations, but the stuff being shown is, here's where we are, here's what we're doing, and here's the date it's coming out. And that's very rare, or maybe it's just a change in our industry, I don't know.
No, it's true. Like I remember last year, people were here talking all about the Mandalorian effect, and everybody wanted like XR experiences in their corporate spaces. And it was one of those, well, but are they actually going to do it moments?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they are actually going to do it. They're excited about it. They want to do it.
Yeah.
But they don't have enough reason to actually build some of these things. So those are some of those kind of smoke and mirrors conversations that I remember people having. And this is a little bit more pragmatic, I'd say.
Yep. All right. One last question for you. It's the important one. It's one thing that sets Epifen out from a lot of companies. You have your own whiskey. Is batch number 1 better or batch number 2? Which one?
Number 2 is definitely better.
Indeed.
I think you know as well as anybody, Joe, which one is better. But I tend to like number 2.
Yeah, I agree. It is unique, and it's great to see it here. It's one of those things you've always made everyone feel invited. So thank you very much, and congratulations on a great show.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, have a great rest of it, and safe travels home.
Yes, yeah, you too.
All right, and we are going to bring the ladies back in.
We figured, we weren't going to let this be just the Joe show, so we wanted to come back in and wrap this up with you.
All right, well, you host your own podcast. It's all yours. Go ahead.
That is true. Hello, AV friends. But we wanted to make sure that we hit on all of the high notes, and so you've been asking us, what about you?
What about me?
What have you seen that's really jumped out?
Oh, that's a good question. I think to me, the thing that I saw, and I know I'm going to keep pounding the word intentional down, but what I saw was an invitedness. I just think that, I don't know. This was not about me getting asked questions. I just want you to know that. There's a reason I sat here with the one that's pinned to me. I don't know, I don't know that, the Joe thing is an anomaly, but I think that there's something about the people who are here that's not, people are more real. I don't know. I don't know what the right words are. But yeah, invitedness is it. Everyone you talk to, there's not, you don't get the pushy sales things anymore, right?
Yes.
People are, every now and then, yes, you walk down some of the halls and they're trying to grab you and tease you into somewhere.
But it seems like it's a lot less. It's more of we're going to let this speak for itself. And then if you have questions, we're here for you.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I like the sort of intentionality of the connections as opposed to it just being all about sales.
Yeah. No, and I like so for example, the other day when we were over at Lightware's booth, right?
Yes.
Horrible drinks, okay? Just so love Lightware, great stuff, but they had the dual boxy thing. We'll find the real
what the product is,
what the
right?
product
Yeah,
name, but where it split the thing, dual long street, right? That was fantastic, right?
That's something that is missing, I think, from the conferencing space currently.
But here's the thing: when they were showing it to us at their happy hour, yeah, it's like, here's our product and I want you to have the information. He equally came back to us and said, is this something that's working for you, right?
Yes.
Is this something, are they here?
No.
Oh, and thanks. But that is something that then really stuck out, is that here's our thing, does this work for you? What about this?
Right.
Do you like this feature, right? There's as much of asking us for the input, and I think I said it on the last two things already,
Yeah.
as it is of just.
That has been so important, and I think that's where HETMA really kind of has, I think, helped a lot of manufacturer partners, because we're kind of making it easier for them to get user feedback, but then it's amazing to get to see them actually putting it into practice. Like, they are listening to us. Like, I know our friends at Panasonic are very big on Panasonic Connect, I should say, being very, like, they reach out to higher ed. They want to know what we're using. They want our opinions. And it's great to see that occurring more and more, because then, we're getting the products that we want, that work for us, and do what we need it to do.
Well, and that was the REQ15, right? The 15,000 lumen, small. What was it, like a foot and a half off the wall, with that extra wide throw short thingy lens thingy. I'm actually impressed I remember the REQ. How about that one? That was even an interview on day one, right? But taking around, and Jared really having those conversations. Again, it was, here's what we do, and I love, okay, a little behind the scenes for people. Before we kind of went through the booth tour, Jared's like, all right, well, what do you guys really want? What's going to work for you? What do you like? We usually walk up and they're like, okay, we're going to show you this product, or we want to show you this product.
Yeah.
They were like, well, what are you guys even looking for? What does higher ed want right now, right? We know Panasonic Connect is, projectors are the bread and butter of higher ed. That is it. But then you take the Keros system and you had, live production things. That was actually interesting that I noticed, because that digital projection mapping that was in the front of their booth, and the live entertainment producing, that's rare. And it's rare for a show like this, because this is commercial. And that was, maybe that is something we need to take to Hall 1. There's a new Hall 1, didn't exist last year.
Yeah.
And that's all lighting and staging and all of that. And then you walk all the way down to Hall 8 with live audio. And, I think we're in Hall 4 right now, which was digital signage last year. And they've had to move it 2 halls down because it's grown so much.
Absolutely.
So that to me is kind of how I think it's developed. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a long question. Answer. I don't like being asked questions,
I know,
on
right?
my own show.
The script getting flipped on you.
I know, it is a little bit. So I'm going to flip it back now. You've been listening in on this last hour. We have Dan Farisi is here. I'm going to steal him I'm going to steal you for 2 minutes. I want to interview Dan Farisi if I can.
Absolutely. Come on in, Dan.
Get in here.
Let's
Get
move
in
on
here.
over.
We have a VIP with us, and when you come by here, I want to get opinion, because here's the thing. You and you interviewed me on the first day at the HD Base T booth. You had an education panel, which is awesome. You've always commercial integrated. Oh, actually, I should have you introduce yourself, but I'm gonna bad hosting and ask multiple questions before I let you talk. You held an educational discussion at the HD Base T booth, so everyone first go and check that out. Tell people who you are, and now what are your thoughts? We're on day 4 of ISE. This is our best of ISE wrap up. What was the best of ISE, especially coming from Emerald Commercial Integrator? What are those types of things?
Sure. So my name is Dan Farisi. I'm Group Editor, Commercial and Security with Emerald. So the brands I oversee are Commercial Integrator and Security Sales and Integration. We thank you very much for being part of that HD Base T partnership as a thought leader. I would say this has been a wildly successful show. I have to say, I haven't looked at all the final numbers yet, but the energy, the enthusiasm has really been off the charts. So I'm delighted to have been here. As exhausting as it is for all of us, early mornings, late nights, it makes me feel very optimistic about the future of our industry. I think these kind of shows are microcosms of our collective industry. So when the show is strong, I feel like it augurs well for the year ahead. technologically speaking, in terms of the vibes, one thing I'm really excited about is hearing sustainability so frequently bandied about. Less power consumption, POE, the idea that we're just trying to be greener as far as our overall mindset goes. Whether it's display companies, AV over IP companies, more and more people seem to be talking about that. So that makes me feel like we're just becoming a bit more mindful. Much like we're trying to be mindful about DEI, try to be mindful about the end user experience. I love the fact that we are now trying to be increasingly mindful about whether it's e-waste, power consumption, that we have to be good corporate stewards and good stewards of not only our planet, our industry community.
Yeah. Yeah, you should do this interview thing for a living, because that. Now we see why you are the editor here, because that would totally sums it up. And you're right, especially with the sustainability. You've got SAVE right out there, dead center, main walkway. Also, come to the first SAVE conference being held at UCLA on March something or other. But those sustainability efforts, I think a lot of things, it's interesting because when BC was just chatting a few minutes ago, he mentioned LED like everywhere. Like there is sensory overload that goes on at ISE, but yet that is being flipped with, hey, our products are sustainable. We're moving toward that. It's not just glitz and glamour for the sake of glitz and glamour.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty huge. This show to me seems just different this year than it has been before. The word I keep using is intentional. I think people are intentional, companies are intentional. When you go back, and you're going to probably be spending the next week editing your things, doing your write-ups, what initial thoughts when you go back? What made this show different, special? Not just because there's more numbers, not because of that. Speak to that.
So I think one thing that's been really refreshing to me is commercial integrators tried to bandy it about. I know a lot of industry influencers have tried to bandy it about that we're in the experience industry now. That we're not simply providing technology, but we're actually guaranteeing outcomes. We're storytellers, we're smile generators, we are experiential creators. And it seems like the vendor community, when I stop by the booths, are increasingly framing their products not just as a technology, not just as a spec sheet, not just as we have this competitive differentiator versus someone else, but this is a solution that's going to meet a person's needs, a professor's needs, a classroom's needs. And we're going to think about it in that way, and we're going to empower integrators to deliver it in that way. And that's going to make integrators more indispensable. It's going to ensure our collective future, because it's not about a spec sheet, it's not about a hardware, it's not about a certain point of margin. It's about generating a smile, creating a memory, making an impact, and delivering a solution. And the greater that I see that in the vendor community when I do my booth meetings, the better I feel, the more bullish I feel about where we're going to be in the years to come.
Yeah, nailed it on so many different ways. One thing I want to say, there's a lot of talk, commercial integrator, right? I'm an end user, we're an end user group with HETMA and all that stuff, but your support of us has been huge. One thing, a little behind the scenes for people, commercial integrator does the 40 under 40 and all. We have one sitting here right next to us.
Yes.
With Brit, but you're always reaching out to me, especially when you do your panels, and say, who are those new voices? Are there people we can do it? And the fact that you and your company always now want the end user feedback is huge. And you put your money where your mouth is, put that way. And you have been spotlighting our voices. So I just want to say a thank you from HETMA to Commercial Integrator and Emerald for all that you do. Which then leads me to the very last question, is that how do people get a hold of you or learn more about Commercial Integrator and security and safety?
Well, first of all, I appreciate those very kind words. I have nothing but the utmost respect for you, for Aaron, for Britt, for the entire HETMA organization. I love the fact that you have made education technology managers rock stars, because you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it on behalf of your institutions, your professors, your students. You are in service of them, so we want to be in service of you. You can reach me at commercialintegrator.com, at Dan Farisi Edit, on LinkedIn, all those good places. And we appreciate your support, your readership. We look forward to working with you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to steal a mic back from you.
All right.
And we are going to move and shift over to the one and only Cindy Davis.
Get home safe.
Get over here.
Connect with you. Yes.
This is how we do our best of show. Thank you very much, Dan. Yep. Whoop. See, this is why we do our best of ISE show at the Influencer Lounge on the last day, because we just take whoever walks by.
Oh, thank
And
you.
that
Whoever
happened to
walks
be
by.
what? No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna throw this over here. No, so we're doing our. She actually didn't know this was going to happen. All right.
not.
But one of the things we do, we end up every year with our best of ISE, the takeaways and all of that, right? And we do love to kind of just get a general pulse. And you, well, first off, you're going to have to tell people who you are, what you do, and with AV technology, but you're also working in media and the content here. So what is your takeaway of the show?
So thank you, and thank you.
Let's make sure we get it. Oh, there we go. I want to make sure the mic stays. There we go.
There we go.
All right.
Alrighty, so thank you. Thanks for grabbing me out of the aisle. My name's Cindy Davis. I'm the content director for AV Technology, and like HETMA is, of course, a very big part of what we do in covering the higher education market. And without you guys, we wouldn't be able to cover it. Truly, wouldn't be able to cover it nearly as well. So, thank you, and thank you for all you do for bringing great higher ed installs and folks to us to write about. So, very happy about that. The show, you know, I hope that I'm not just repeating everybody, but I might. AI is built into so many products now that it's been talked about for really quite a few years, and I think this year we're really starting to see it bubble up and come into a lot of products. From interestingly enough, AI programming, coding.
Yeah.
That's gonna be interesting to see where that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that was one of the things when you see it like in the Aurora Multimedia stuff, right? The automatic JavaScript that goes right to it. I
Right.
think that's a big change. And I think that we're moving that direction. We know it's a buzzword in the world, especially it's a buzzword in higher ed. I've been saying that because we have to think about things like ChatGPT for testing and essay writing, and so our academics are talking about it. Well, then what does that mean for technology? I don't know if we know, but it's neat to kind of see the development, and then we're at a fun phase in technology.
Yeah,
right?
and I think AI. Everybody's very scared of it. What's it going to do? Is it going to blow up the world? Maybe, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to blow up any of our anything that we do. I think it's going to evolve and help what we do if we use it properly.
Yeah,
So,
I totally agree.
Yeah.
So one of the things about you, first I'm going to have to say thank you to you too, because one of the things about AV Technology is you run your webinars every month. You've always wanted, reach out to me, you reach out to HETMA, you reach out to us because you want our voice.
Absolutely.
Right? One of the things about ISE as compared to, say, an Infocom, that ISE is only 25% end users, opposed to Infocom has about, was it 36, 38% from last year. But even higher ed at ISE is a smaller percentage, a larger percentage of the, right?
Sure.
It's different demographics. So because you're always somebody who's looking for our point of view, the end customer point of view, how do you connect that at a show like this? How do you get that other bit as opposed to just the glitz and glamour of the booths?
So I actually passed the glitz and glamour because I really love getting deeper down and seeing what's, it's like, that software. It's like, well, what does that do? And I have to mention, and I don't usually bring up products or brands specifically, and everybody always asks, is there one like wow thing that you saw at the show, the glitz and glamour? Well, there was not the glitz and glamour. I'm not sure. I mean, there were lots of really amazing displays, of course, massive, and pixel pitches getting smaller and smaller, beautiful. 21 by 9 is like all over. But I went off-site and went to a Samsung event. Were you there?
I didn't.
No.
We didn't do the Samsung one.
So, I went, wasn't sure what to expect, but they have a new CRM, no, not CRM,
CMS.
Content management system.
yes.
Thank you, for digital signage, and I really think I think it's truly a great game changer. Anyone can go on to the web do a free trial for 60 days, and it's soup to nuts depending on what you want. It can be a small, quick serve restaurant to corporate to higher ed, and it will connect virtually all of your displays as long as it's on the network. And so, of course, I did my interview at the end. It's like, yeah, well, do they have to be all Samsung displays? Because I'm like, of course, right? And no, they don't.
So they're going agnostic and separating out the CMS.
Pretty amazing. And in the management, you're able to manage a global network of digital signage from one little, mom and pop shop to a global network of digital signage, and it can be, well, it is cloud-based, so they're going to manage it, help that. So
I like that.
I think it's got so many applications, and that's the one. It's like, yeah, you know what? I really think that's the game changer that I've seen.
Today is our day. After this, we are contractually done after these interviews today, and this is our day to check that out. So I'm going to definitely do that because, well, now digital signage falls under me too.
Oh,
so that is a
go.
take home. So I guess another question regarding the show. So Barcelona, this is now our third time, and we had the honor of having dinner together the other day. Talk a little about your favorite things about Barcelona, and boy, how about the size of that paella dish that was at dinner?
4 of them.
Yes.
Not 1, 4.
That was crazy.
Yes, it was crazy.
But what your impact or your thoughts on the city now that we've had 3 ISEs, right? Talk a little bit about that, the change and growth of ISE too.
Okay, so as far as the city, this is the only event where I make sure that I stay an extra day because what a city. I mean, why wouldn't you want to stay? Honestly, sorry, Floridians, I hate Orlando. My hair hates Orlando. And Vegas, it's Vegas, right? And I don't need to stay an extra day. I've been there for a million times. So, but Barcelona, just an amazing city, very welcoming city. And I'm actually repeating some of the places, even though there's so much more to see, just because I just love it.
Yep.
Going to the market tomorrow morning to Elkeen. I'll be there around 10:30 if anybody wants to join me. There's not many seats, but man, the best breakfast ever.
Yes, and I totally agree. I think I love this city. I love the people. I love just how kind of the food. Every time has come up on the food, of that, and I think it really makes it special. Hopefully, it's still not just the newness of it. And in 10 years, we're still saying how much we love it.
Yeah, I think we're going to be saying that.
But yes. So just one couple, quick little last question. When you get back, because again, you're going to be putting stories and all of that out over the next month, But so what are the things now you're going to say, or maybe it's too early, but what are your takeaways when you go? What kind of content are you going to now put up? What's that thing later that's going to define the show?
So I record all my interviews because I really like to, go back and down. I mean, I've got probably 100 recordings now, and do that download. And AI is certainly going to be it. Partnerships, we saw partnerships really start to evolve, and I think happen during the pandemic because it was really a way for companies to get out with their solutions, and by partnering, then they made sense. But I was kind of wondering, it's like, all right, they're all going to fly the coop, and it's like, okay, you're out of here. But no, it's gone just the opposite, and I think there's more partnerships. So that whole partnership idea is really codifying, and I was really interested to see that here, because for some, why make a camera when there's already a lot of really good cameras out there? Why not partner?
Yeah.
So partners. So AI, of course. In partnerships in 21 by 9, I would say.
Yes.
Are the 3 big things that I've seen.
I love 21.9. I know I'm an anomaly.
21.9.
I love 21.9, everybody.
All right.
And it's there.
I'm going to be doing a review on the Jupiter 34. The Panda 34, 21 by 9. I can't wait to get it in my hands.
Yes.
Review it.
I see now. That's why you're great, because you agree with me. No, I'm just kidding. Last and the most important question: how do people connect with you and learn more about AV technology?
Well, that's easy. avnetwork.com is where all the content for AV technology as well as systems contractor news is housed, and you can reach me at Cindy, cindy.davis@futurenet.com.
All right. Thank you so much.
thank
you
you.
for letting me steal you.
Of course. Great to see you.
All right. Oh.
Everybody.
All right. Let's grab
All right.
our. We gotta grab our mic. All right.
I always
there
want
we.
that.
You know. And
These are small.
I know little. These are fantastic.
Nice.
Thank you, Cindy. All right. All right. So now we're gonna switch over, and we're gonna do last words, last thoughts. So Britt and Aaron, that was a nice trying to interview me. That's why I stole Dan Farisi. I said I need to get out of this situation. So final thoughts, takeaways, all of that, open-ended, horrible question. Britt.
All right, so I think that I kind of want to go back to the strategic planning of knowing where you're going to be at what time and what you're supposed to be doing, and just keeping track of all of that. And I also found myself taking notes as I went, or when I would get back to the hotel, even when it was super late at night, I would make sure to jot down a few things, just because I know that we're creating content for people, and like we want people to know what is going on, and I can't forget. Like I can't let the people down. So just keeping track of everything strategically was my biggest takeaway, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree. So then the last question to you, promote your shows and your columns and all of that. And can I get a little, you recorded a Brave Space here.
I did.
Can we have a preview of that? What did we talk about?
Sure, yeah. So my podcast is Brave Space, and I recorded with EFAT, and we just talked a little bit about ISE in particular. We talked about being uncomfortable at work or at trade shows, DEI. Obviously, she is phenomenal at DEI conversations. We can always learn so much from her. And we also honed in on some of the alcohol consumption at trade shows. So yeah, it was a really powerful conversation. I'm excited for people to hear it.
Awesome. Yes, do check that out. It'll be posted soon.
Yeah.
Soonish.
Yeah.
All right. Getting back into that, that's the hardest part about coming back from the show is you got all this content and then I put it out. I promise everybody, I'm going to do good this time.
All right.
But we do have rock stars here. Aaron, you're gonna go ahead and close us out. Then your same question to you. Final thoughts, takeaways.
Yeah, so I think one of my takeaways is that I've been but my thoughts about like in goals for ISE was kind of like looking for things that solve problems, but at the same time, I need to be open to discovering those kind of diamonds in the rough and things that are solving problems I didn't even realize I had. So
Yes.
I definitely look forward to maybe finding that that little nugget today.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's what this is. Finally, we're gonna get to relax. You realize that in about 3 minutes, I'm gonna wrap this up, and then we're gonna be free. But we're not free because you still have to record your podcast.
That
We
is
do think
true.
AV Nation has been a huge support too, partnering with us here to help put this together. So make sure So how can everybody learn about your podcast? Give a preview of what you're going to talk about, so they can go and they'll find that at avnation.tv on EdTech. And so I was
You
about to ask you.
basically-
I basically just answered the question.
Thank you.
But you know what? We won't edit that out, but I'm going to pretend I
Yes.
didn't say that.
But
Go
yes,
ahead.
avnation.tv, EdTech podcast. And so this episode is going to be, a little different format from my usual, like having my regular panel of higher ed AV professionals and my guests. This time it's all guests, all international higher ed reps. So it's going to be, it's going to be nice. It'll be nice. And we're not talking about articles. Of course, we're talking about ISE. So
Awesome. Looking forward to listening to that. And so I guess that does wrap us up. This was a very successful ISE for HETMA and Higher Ed AV and our crew. And do I get to see people at the HETMA booth at ISE next year?
I think you might be
say that?
able to
All right.
say
Well, I
that.
promise breaking news. So there we go. We will close that out just like that. So thank you, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed this ISE and all the coverage that we brought you. Looking forward to great things in next time. Of course, 3 weeks from now, 3 weeks from right now is our virtual conference. So make sure you go to community.hetma.org events page, find the virtual conference, sign up. This is our opportunity to talk and learn from one another because we were virtual before. It was cool. And with that, we'll call this a wrap.